Over a decade ago on February 12, 2012, 2 days before Valentine's Day, the Mattel toy brand Monster High released their third movie. I've always found the 3D animated films to be more memorable and prefer watching them often. It just really worked for them, and I don't have the words to express why. The first two films are 2D films animated by the company Wild Brain Entertainment. Later, they changed it over to CGI animation by Nerd Corps Entertainment. This change lasted from 2012 with Why Do Ghouls Fall in Love until 2016 with the final G1 film, Great Scarier Reef. The title is a play on the song Why Do Fools Fall in Love by Frankie Limon and the Teenagers, which debuted on January 10, 1956. It is also the title of a 1998 romance musical. It was directed by Dustin McKenzie, Steve Sachs, and Andrew Duncan. With all that out of the way, let's get into watching Why Do Ghouls Fall in Love. We begin on a dark and stormy night as we get a quick little tour of the school, all leading to a scene of Draculaura arriving to her sweet 1600th birthday party. It's always funny when only certain characters are obviously getting dolls, like how Frankie is in a new outfit whereas Cleo and Ghoulia aren't dressed up at all. Anyway, Frankie gets the party started, and we get Draculaura enjoying her party like the tomato juice fountain, the salad bar. Then we get to see Laguna and Gil create an ice sculpture with the help of Abominable. It's basically the scene from The Incredibles with Frozone. Through some exposition courtesy of Operetta talking to Howleen, we learn that her birthday is not only on Valentine's Day, but the whole holiday was created just for her. Her birthmark isn't heart-shaped. Hearts are her birthmark-shaped.
Her birthday is Valentine's Day? You bet! Take a gander at her birthmark! The whole dang holiday was fashioned just for her! She's so lucky!
We see Claude gift Draculaura with a portrait of herself, along with a stack of gifts. Then we hear Dracula announce he got her a new car. Products sold separately. The camera pans out and transitions to reveal it was all Draculaura describing her perfect party to the other ghouls. She tries to be humble about it, but the others reassure her they are normal expectations to have. Then we get the iconic Monster High Fright song set over transitions of scenes from the film and shots of the main ghouls. The camera zooms out on a black journal that reads, Why Do Ghouls Fall in Love, surrounded by Valentine's Day stuff. Next, we're panning over students as they daydream, and Frankie narrates about expectations and how they can be good and bad.
Fantasies can become expectations. And when that happens, it can put a lot of pressure on the monsters in your life.
A good message for kids, honestly.
Friend, Brent Rambo.
We land on Cleo and Claudine planning Draculaura's Sweet 1600 when Toralei pops up talking about how she heard about the party from a little birdie. Persephone and Meowlady accompany her. Cleo and Claudine tell her she's not invited because she's bullied Draculaura before. Toralei leaves, promising vengeance.
A little birdie told me you guys were throwing a perfectly epic party. We're here for invites. Please, Toralei, you're not coming.
Cleo and Claudine meet up with the ghouls in the hallway, with Drac asking how the party planning is going. They lie and say it's going well. Claude comes up and gifts Draculaura with a driver's ed textbook so she can study. She's obviously disappointed and sulks off. Claudine immediately rounds on Claude, telling him to step up his game. He says that was just a decoy and shows off another gift, a gold chain with a horrendous pendant. The ghouls are again not impressed. Claude is befuddled and unsure what to get Drac to impress her. Next we see C.A. Cupid, or part of her, talking on her radio show, inviting callers. Frankie narrates that everyone listens to Cupid's show. Cupid is the adopted daughter of Eros, the god of love.
Caller number 5, you're on with Cupid, goddess of love. Tell me, what matters to your heart?
I've always wondered why they sent her to Monster High, aside from obviously being a monster herself. What if it's based on the story of Eros and Psyche, in which Eros is depicted as a monstrous figure, a la Beauty and the Beast? It's probably not what the writers had in mind, but I like the parallels. Love can be monstrous sometimes. She advises the caller to try not being so invisible, literally, and it almost immediately gets the goal her desired outcome, a manster noticing her. She thanks her and hangs up as we go back to Frankie and Abby talking about Cupid. Abby is befuddled by the confusing nature of romance.
Do not understand why play these games. In mountains, village elders choose a date for you, spit in hand, chic, end of story. He's no muss, he's no fuss. Okay, he's little muss.
An arrow queen.
As queen, slay! Slay! Slay your enemies, ruler of one of the realms of men! Smite down those that oppose you!
Cut to Gulia, she's moping because she isn't sure who to take to the dance. Slow-mo or Dawn of the Dead. Laguna tells Gil that Gulia has a hard time following her heart. Gil then gives her the idea to use science to try and make a decision instead. Cupid takes another call, and it's from Claude this time, wondering what does someone get for the ghoul who has everything. Cupid advises him to try getting her a personal gift that shows he listens.
Has this problem? What do you buy the ghoul that has everything? Oh, I hear you, caller. My advice is not to buy her anything. Find her something personal. Something that says you listen.
He immediately thinks about how short Drac is. It's here that Drac mentions her powers haven't come in, something that will play a role in future films. Claude takes that idea and runs with it and builds Drac a stool to get up to her locker. But Drac starts crying, misinterpreting the gift as Claude thinking she's short. She turns and walks off.
Come on! Now you can get up to your locker, no problem. See? I wanted to prove that I've been... That's what you think of me? You think I'm short?
Claudine bonks Claude on the nose and walks off as well. In the bathroom, we hear from Draculaura that Valentine's Day brings back a lot of memories for her. Frankie asks why, and at first, Drac plays it off like she doesn't want to share, but he immediately caves and does. Cut to a sepia-toned scene of her old vampire school where she first met Kieran Valentine. He has a southern accent and is accompanied by an entourage of talking clouds. We also see he is not above using his powers to manipulate people into loving him. He singles out Drac, and they fall in love.
His name was Valentine. And he was the most romantic monster ever. Every girl in school was fangs over heels for him. But he chose me.
He is the one who invents Valentine's Day for her, but names it after himself. The ego on this guy.
I hate you so much!
We hear that he is planning something to do with her heart slowly filling up with love for him.
And for my birthday, he gave me the greatest gift I've ever received. He created a holiday just for me, Valentine's Day. Happy birthday, darling. You have the biggest heart. Almost full of love. Tonight, I shall make it mine. Forever.
But then Drac and her family have to up and move due to confusion with the locals.
But that night, my family had to flee due to a misunderstanding with the locals. And I never saw him again.
Back in the bathroom, Drac mourns their past relationship, but Cleo and Claudine try talking some sense into her.
You only knew him for a week. It was supposed to be forever. He seems pretty self-obsessed to me. Don't you think it's weird that he made a holiday for you, but named it after himself? Whatever.
She isn't having it though, and is so deluded into thinking that what they had was love.
Oh my God, pull yourself together!
When the ghouls exit the bathroom, Toralei and the twins pop out. Here we learn she can imitate Draculaura's voice as she mocks her. She tells the twins since they're not invited to the party, they plan to ruin it.
I better go get ready for my driver's test. They won't invite us to the party, huh? Then we'll just have to ruin it.
Cut to Gulia using a series of equations to try and pick between Slow-Mo and Dawn of the Dead. Laguna tells her she's overthinking it.
All this math has got your head swimming around like a blind tuna. You gotta ask yourself, what does your heart want?
And helps her go through a list of pros and cons about each. But Gulia gets the idea to write a computer program to choose for her instead, ignoring Laguna. We next see Valentine in his home. A shelf of broken hearts are behind him, and he has a framed photo of Draculaura over his fireplace.
There's nothing more beautiful than a full heart.
It's giving Trophy Hunter. He gets a call, but his mother asks who he's talking to, and he yells back in his real accent.
Valentine, how may I romance you?
Who are you talking to on the phone?
Mom, I got it! Jeez!
Valentine?
Over the phone, we hear Draculaura as Valentine falls over. We hear his clouds reaffirm him, and they talk like 1950s greasers for some reason. Maybe because the song that it's named after came out in the 1950s? She wants him to transfer to Monster High, and he eagerly accepts. Then it's revealed to be Toralei on the phone, naturally.
You raggedy bitch.
We flip back and forth between scenes of Claude and Valentine describing why they each want to be with Draculaura. Claude thinks she's perfect and amazing. Valentine just wants her heart for his collection. Cupid advises Claude to remind her why she fell in love with him in the first place, and we cut to Cleo and Claudine descending into the catacombs, wanting to set up the party there in an old concert hall. The room smells because of a pit that Operetta calls the Cauldron of Eternal Body Odor. They agree to rope it off and have the party there. Back with Gulia, she's finished her program, and together with Laguna and Gil, they watch the results, and the program singles out Heath Burns. They're all flabbergasted.
Hey, hot stuff. He burns. Holla.
With the Ghouls, Claude shows them his gift for Draculaura. This time, it's a box of mementos that the Ghouls aren't impressed by. Before he can say more, Ghouls scream and they run down the hall.
Oh, a box of junk. How thoughtful. Yeah, you can't give her a bunch of stuff that you dug up from the backyard. It's not a box of junk. It's...
Clea wonders aloud what it could be.
What's that about? Is there a sale somewhere? Why wasn't I told? Schoolyard.
Spectra shares that a new monster has transferred at Monster High. Toralei says that he's looking for Draculaura, stirring shit up as usual. With Drac, she spots Valentine during her driver's test and totally bombs.
You fail.
In the halls, the ghouls of the school are fawning over him when Toralei shows up. She reveals she called him to get past Claude. All this to mess with Draculaura? That is unhinged behavior. Valentine is all too eager to go along with it, later reconnecting with Drac and instantly starts trying to woo her through a montage, and she is really falling for him again. The ghouls take notice, reminding her she's dating Claude. Abby even has some words to share.
Are you forgetting that you already have a boyfriend?
In my village, they have name for this. Priluba Chichnetstavich. Not cool.
Claudine tells her that she has to make a choice. With Deuce, Laguna, and Gil and Howleen, they try to break the news gently to Heath about Gulia, but he isn't paying attention, just happy for anyone's affection. With Draculaura, she's mulling over her decision and makes up her mind. She is trying to break the news to Valentine when he resorts to using her powers to force her to love him. Next thing you know, she is working arm in arm with Valentine. They pass Claude. The obnoxious clouds make a point of rubbing salt in the wound as Toralei watches on.
What? Dracula?
You got dumped.
In class, Heath is putting the moves on Gulia, and Laguna asks her if she's sure she wants to do this. Gulia chooses to leave it up to science, though, sealing her fate. Claudine gets an update on her eye coffin, and then everyone does, with Spectra, La Bochinchera, tells everyone in the school that Drac and Claude broke up. Outside, Claude is upset as he tries playing basketball, but just ends up scaring the others and popping the ball. With the ghouls, they've been trying to talk to Drac but can't find her anywhere. Gulia suggests they check if she's taking her driver's test, but she wasn't there either. When they do find her, she goes on about how she's changed everything about herself and her life to be around Valentine.
Realized something was way wrong. Draculaura, we need to talk right now. Where have you been? With now, I had all my classes changed. That way he and I will never be apart. What about my brother? Which one? You have like 10. You better not be acting all weird like this at your party.
The camera even tilts to a Dutch angle to indicate that something isn't right about the situation. She even says she can't make it to her own birthday party, which is way out of character for her. As she and Valentine leave, Toralei mocks the ghouls. They're so confused about the sudden change in her character. They call Spectra to help them out. She spies on Toralei and Valentine in the hallway. Valentine admits that he has to hurry and harvest her heart, or the spell he casts on her becomes permanent in 3 days, and when that happens, her heart will disappear forever, and she won't be able to love anyone ever again. Valentine only cares that he won't be able to collect her heart if that happens.
It's moving slower than molasses. Her love for that hound was stronger than I considered. I thought you hypnotized her. I did, but I still have to fill her heart completely with love, else I can't harvest it and put it in my trophy case. I just need to make sure I get it soon. Why the rush? This is fun! The spell will become permanent in 3 days. Her birthday. She'll be stuck in that state forever. Her heart will disappear like smoke. She'll be incapable of loving anyone ever. Even me. And no heart. No trophy. Either way, I win. Good luck.
When Claude hears about it, he is beyond mad, but Gulia talks him down. It's Frankie who suggests they go to Cupid for help. After all, she is an expert at matters of the heart.
A spell? Steal her heart? I'll tell her! Gulia's right. Getting rid of Valentine without breaking the spell would be a voltageous fail. She'd be a total zombie! No offense.
The plan is for Cupid to shoot Drac with an arrow to get her to fall in love with Claude again, which, like, how is that better? That's just choosing one brainwashing over another.
Cupid, it's a love emergency. If he put her under a spell, In order to break it, we're gonna need this. Hand me my bow. You could have just opened it. That's the key right there. Oh.
Anyway, on the way, Ghoulia has to drag off Heath because he's being annoying and in the way. Cut to Val and Drac making eyes at each other. Cupid lines up her shot a distance away, but charges up 2 arrows because of how strong Valentine's powers are.
Ready? I've never seen a monster with powers like his. One arrow won't be strong enough to break the spell.
As she aims her bow, Toralei throws a paper airplane at her, throwing off her balance and causing the arrows to go flying in the wrong direction. She pushes Claude out of the way, only for her and him to get struck and instantly fall in love with each other. Later, Heath performs an air guitar solo for Ghoulia.
Valentine's Day was tomorrow. Julia was still trying to make it work with Heath. After all, science can't be wrong, can it?
But with Drac and Claude, they're happily in love with the wrong monsters. Claudine tries reminding Claude about Drac, but she can't break through the love magic possessing the both of them. Meanwhile, Drac is falling deeper and deeper in love with Valentine, slowly dooming herself to a horrible fate. I just realized this movie is a sort of commentary on abusive relationships. The love bombing, the manipulating, the hiding abuse behind a polished facade. He's literally using her. So Abby and Frankie break into Cupid's office. Abby comments that she thinks Cupid is full of it, but Frankie comes to her defense.
Stop Valentine before we throw it out your heart forever. There's gotta be something in here that breaks these spells. There is nothing in here but games entries. I do not understand why monsters trust her so much. She knows more about love.
Frankie sees Cupid's bow and arrow and decides to keep them in her locker for safekeeping. A call comes in, and Abby answers it, giving blunt but helpful advice. The listeners immediately respond, calling in to get more advice from the brutally honest ghoul.
Just to be lying around. I'll put him in my locker. I don't think. What do you want? Cupid? She's not here. I'm Eddie. I know. Well, I like your school, but I don't know how to talk to her. Me did it. Do not waste breath on flowery introductions. Say, hello, I like you. You like me? See? It's easy. Okay. I am natural. Hey, like you! Because I do not play games. Hey, that's not bad. You agree, Eddie, when love is not game. No.
She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment. Now, come on now.
Ghoulia is studying up on Valentine's and Cupid to prove that science is the answer. Heath is listening to Cupid's show where Abby is laying into one caller.
Was right. Secret admirer? No. In my village, if there is no name on package, it gets sent back to post office.
Whoa, your friend just totally owned that, dude. Crash and burn. Ouch!
Valentine is still attempting to woo Drac. It's taking longer than he expected, almost like a part of her is fighting it. The ghouls are confused and upset at the situation. Claudine blames her brother, pointing out the box of supposed junk he was going to gift Draculaura. That's called foreshadowing. Later, Cleo and Claudine are handing out skeleton keys for the party. With Ghoulia and Laguna, Ghoulia learns that her computer had a bug in it, literally.
Let's go in the case. Maybe science wasn't the answer after all. That's when Julia realized that her science was sound. It was her computer that was the problem. There was a bug in the program. She was never supposed to be with you. Yeah, you were right. How are you gonna break it to him?
This was why her program pulled up Heath, but Ghoulia still has to make a decision now about which guy to take to the party. I like how her and Draculaura's problems parallel each other in a way. Frankie gives Valentine a key too, hinting at a plan that's to unfold at the party. Speaking of which, everyone is arriving to the Sweet 1600, Halt Hyde is DJing, and everyone is getting down on the dance floor. I love the dance that one gargoyle thing is doing.
On the squeals of steel,
The ghouls are discussing the plan, which is to smash Cupid's bow because its magic powers a spell, but then Toralei comes swinging out of nowhere to snatch it up. The ghouls split up to find the mischievous werecat before it's too late, and they lose Draculaura for good. Up on the balcony, Toralei uses the bow and arrow to ruin the party by shooting people with it. Cleo falls in love with her reflection, nothing new. Gil falls for that dancing gargoyle. Howleen falls for that eye-headed monster. And Manny is seen dancing with Slow-Mo. Damn, Ghoulia, he snatched up your man.
Be who you are.
The ghouls agree for Claudine to use herself as bait to draw out Toralei so the ghouls can catch her. Toralei is able to catch her eventually.
Look at Ryan like a dog, just waiting for this kitty to scratch.
And the ghouls strike. Frankie uses her hand to swipe the bow back as Laguna throws a bucket of water at the werecats, and Abby causing them to slip and be stuck hanging over the stinky pit. They smash the bow and everyone returns to normal. Frankie runs up to Claude and tells him to give the box of junk to Draculaura, and it goes about how you'd expect. A montage of memories plays as the spell slowly breaks over Drac.
Power thought. Remember! But I knew there was one thing stronger.
Drac's love is able to not only break Val's spell, but all his magic. She confronts him, backing him up to the edge of the pit just as Toralei falls, taking them both into the goo. The werecat twins and other ghouls flee from the smelly duo.
You got down! Shut it, you bunch of cute little nincompoops! On Valentine's Day, I can get any girl I want! You know what? It's time everyone knew how much your love...
Back in Val's place, all the hearts he's taken over the years are being healed. He's lost all his power. Drac thanks Claudine and Cleo for the party. She absolutely loves it. They were even able to convince Mr. Hackington to let her take her test again. And Claude gives her the driver's ed book.
And one final present. We talked to Mr. Hack, explained everything. He's going to let you take the driver's test again. Here you go. I thought you might want that. Oh, so romantic. True this in love and in life. You never know what to expect.
With Ghoulia and Laguna, she prepares to break things off with Heat, but he breaks up with her first. Oh, how the turntables.
Here he comes. Be gentle when you break it off for the night. He's really fooling for you. Listen, it looks like there's an opening for stud of the century since Val's out of commission. I can't be tied down right now. Don't want to disappoint all the ladies. No hard feelings.
Cupid and Abby are now co-hosts on her radio show. They might butt heads, but they both give useful advice. Although, I appreciate Abby's brutal honesty way more.
Carl, you need to be subtle. Laugh at his jokes, even if they're bad. I'm going to pretend I did not hear that. Carl, you must be daring. Look him in the eye. Tell him how you feel. If he no feels him, move along. Wow, that makeup.
As the movie draws to a close, Drac is surprised by Claude in her new car outside the school, and he gives her the necklace she was dreaming of, which, again, kinda defeats the purpose of the other gifts being meaningful, but whatever. As they drive off, they splash a dirty puddle onto Valentine and Toralei, but Val uses Toralei as a shield at the last second, and the gates close to the school as Claude and Drac ride away. First off, the outfits, specifically the Sweet 1600 outfits for Frankie, Claudine, and Draculaura. In order from least to most favorites, I'd say Frankie, then Draculaura, and my most favorite is Claudine. Claudine just really looks good in a tux. I'm always happy when Monster High doesn't do character regression or even character assassination for the sake of the plot. Like, Drac is being someone totally different, but it's because of a spell, so I'll let it slide. The whole theme of expectations versus reality was a thoughtful message, and I think they handled it nicely. Sometimes, expectations can blind us to the beauty of the reality in front of us. Cupid's first appearance was a delight. I love the way she plays off the straight man Abby. They show that love isn't so simple, and what works for one person may not work for another. Overall, it was a cute movie, and I loved rewatching it again. The novelty of it being their first foray into 3D animation and this is the result. You can tell a lot of love and care went into bringing the characters and world to life. That's all I have to say for now, though. Thank you for watching, and please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Catch you all in the next one when I recap Escape from Skull Shores. See you next time. Bye!
Bye!